George, a special topic. You touch on it, you discussed it at some length in Life After Google. It's not the central point, but it's a special topic. Artificial intelligence. In Life After Google, you describe a 2017 conference of technologists at Asilomar, California. Quote, they gathered at Asilomar to alert the world to the dire threat posed by, well, by themselves, by Silicon Valley. Their computer technology, artificial intelligence, had gained such power and momentum that they now deemed it nothing less than a menace to mankind. To the Googleplex intellectuals, mathematics is essentially a doomsday machine, close quote. And they're wrong?
Yeah, they forgot Gödel. They just don't understand their own technology. It's sad, but they don't.
Okay, hold on.
They imagine that.
Hold on. You're talking about Elon Musk and his buddies Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the Googleplex intellectuals.
Musk essentially funded that Asilomar conference.
However, now I see you and I raise you, George. I'm going to listen to this intellectual. Henry Kissinger, writing in The Atlantic magazine this past spring, quote, heretofore, the technological advance that most altered the course of modern history was the invention of the printing press in the 15th century. But now, the world is experiencing an even more sweeping technological revolution whose culmination may be a world relying on machines ungoverned by ethical or philosophical norms, close quote. Now you're taking on Henry Kissinger. Go ahead.
He was my tutor.
At Harvard in the old days?
Yeah, he was assigned to be my tutor. I was something of a rebellious student, and I never quite...
Even then?
But I loved Henry. He is a great man. And he has absorbed the Google system of the world. And he is wrong.
Why?
Artificial intelligence is a terrific extension of human intelligence. It requires an oracle just like any other machine extension.
It's still a tool.
It still
requires being held in a human hand in a certain sense.
Yes, and it in no way usurps the human brain. That whole concept that somehow a machine can usurp the human mind and excel the human mind.
Well, now
it's true only if you say that the abacus or the calculator excels the human mind. Of course they do in certain functions, but when Garry Kasparov competes with Big Blue, Gary's using 12 to 14 watts of energy, and is not connected to anything beyond his own mind, while Big Blue is using essentially gigawatts of energy connected to those big cloud data centers, and it just isn't. And moreover, they're addressing a deterministic problem. And a deterministic problem can be solved by a machine. But deterministic problems are interesting, but irrelevant to information, as Claude Shannon showed. Information is defined as surprise. It's unexpected bits. It's entropy, as he called it. And surprise is the essence of human creativity. Surprises in a machine is a breakdown. It's bad news when your machine starts surprising you. And the way the Google people simulate creativity in machines is they introduce randomness to the machines. And they pretend that is somehow simulating creativity. But randomness is minus information. They're subtracting information rather than adding it. It's just like their ads are actually minuses. Their creative inputs into their machines are actually minuses as well.
All right. So here's what we all have in the backs of our minds. 2001 Space Odyssey, in which Hal, he takes over the spaceship.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
It's a funny scene, but it's of course chilling, and in those days it was fiction, which is why it was funny.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody has in his mind, that the machines will take over. They'll start giving us orders. You said you were taught by Henry Kissinger, or you were supposed to have been taught by him. Another person you know well is Ray Kurzweil.
I do.
Who is at Google now. And Ray Kurzweil wrote a book in 2005 entitled The Singularity is Near. And he argues that machines would become so intelligent that the distinction between computers and humans would disappear.
Yeah.
HAL would take over. And you say the machines will never be that smart, or you say it is in principle impossible. It doesn't matter how smart they are.
Yeah, it's in principle impossible. That machines do not essentially think. They don't know anything. There are systems of gates, of dumb components. They lack this creativity, which is epitomized in all the unexpected bits, the surprising results that human minds and imaginations can generate.
All right.
Computers are deterministic. They're machines. And Ray wrote a book called How to Create a Mind. It's a brilliant exposition of how to make a good speech recognizer. And in that book, he pretty much concludes that consciousness isn't really an issue. Consciousness is an emergent effect. It's an epiphenomenon of these machine processes that computer scientists understand. But this is just nonsense. If you don't understand consciousness, you don't understand thinking. Thinking doesn't produce consciousness. Consciousness produces thinking. And all these computer scientists are trying to explain away consciousness. But that's where we are. That's where we live. That's how we think. That's the issue. Right. And to say, oh, well, we don't know what consciousness is, but our machines are going to compute so fast that it won't matter, that consciousness will emerge like one of their clouds, I think is just another fundamental vanity of the valley.
Got it.